Welcome to this review. It was made by a computer. If you want to learn more about the exam, please look at the links below this review. Today we are going to talk about writing for the IELTS exam. We will talk about how many words to write. We will talk about advice from teachers. We will talk about the rules for the exam. We have a lot to talk about, so let's begin.
The IELTS exam has rules for how many words you write.
The first thing we need to understand is that there are rules for how many words you have to write.
Yes, that is correct. For the first writing task, you must write more than 150 words. This task is about a picture that you see. It might be a picture with lines that go up and down. It might be a picture with different colors. It might be a picture of how something is made. For the second writing task, you need to write more than 250 words. This task is to write an essay. If you do not write enough words, your score will go down.
So we know how many words we need to write at least. Is there a limit for the most words you can write? Is it bad to write more than the number they ask for?
There is no rule for how many words is too many, but that does not mean you should write as much as you can. More words is not always better. Sometimes a shorter essay is better if it is well organized. It needs to have a good structure and be easy to follow. A very long essay that is not well organized will not get a good score. It will be hard to read and understand. It will just be words on the page with no real meaning.
So we should try to find a good balance between enough words and good words.
Exactly. It's usually good to aim for around 170 to 190 words for the first writing task, and around 270 to 290 for the second task.
Okay, that makes sense. But why is the number of words so important? Why do we need to think about this?
Well, the number of words you write is important because it shows how well you can use your English. You need to show that you can write a good essay with a limited amount of time. You only have 40 minutes to finish the second writing task. It is not really about how many words you can write. It is more about how well you can plan your essay so you can say everything you need to say in the time you have.
So it's about being a good writer, but also being able to think and write quickly.
Yes, that's right. The word count is just one way that the exam tries to see if you can do both.
Okay, I see. What happens if I don't write enough words? Will I automatically get a bad score?
If you don't write at least the minimum number of words, then yes, it will hurt your score. You really need to make sure you write more than the number they tell you to write.
Yeah, okay, good to know. What about the instructions for the task? Do I have to copy them into my essay? And do those words count toward the total word count?
No, you don't need to write the instructions into your essay. The people who read your essay already know the instructions. And no, they do not count those words. You need to use your own words to explain the information from the instructions.
It sounds like we really need to focus on the quality of the words we are writing, and not just how many words we can write.
Yes, that's the most important thing to remember. The people who check your writing are looking for good English. They want to see that you have a good vocabulary and that you can use correct grammar. And most importantly, they want to see that you can express your ideas in a clear and organized way.
Do you have any advice for how we can keep track of the number of words we are writing during the exam? I don't want to waste time counting every word. Is there a faster way to know if I am writing enough?
That's a good question. You don't have to count every word. You can count how many lines you are writing. Before you take the exam, you should practice writing on the official answer sheet. This will help you learn how many words you usually write on each line. Then when you take the exam, you can just count the lines instead of counting the words.
That's a very helpful tip. Thank you.
You're welcome. For example, if you write 5 words on one line and you have 20 lines, then you will have written 100 words.
That is a really good tip. I think it'll be very helpful. We've talked a lot about how many words we should write, and now I am starting to understand why it is important to plan your essay before you start writing it. You need to organize all of your ideas in your mind before you write them down.
Yes, that's right. For the IELTS exam, you need to show that you can do more than just write good English. You need to show that you can plan your writing, and you need to show that you can write a good essay even when you have limited time. So this means that you need to choose your ideas carefully, and you need to put them in the right order so they are easy to understand.
Okay, so you're saying I need to have good ideas, and I need to know how to explain them well.
That's exactly right. You also need to understand what the exam is asking you to do. It's important to know the different types of writing they might ask you to do, especially for the first writing task, because it can be different every time. Sometimes it might be about a picture with a line that goes up and down. Other times it might be about a picture with lots of different colors. Or maybe it will be about a picture that shows how something is made. You need to be prepared to write about all of these different things.
So basically, the IELTS exam is a lot harder than it looks. It is not just about knowing English, it's about knowing how to follow the rules. and how to use your time well, and how to organize your ideas.
Yes, the IELTS exam is testing many different things. Can you understand the question they are asking? Can you write a good answer to that question? Can you choose the right words to use? Can you write sentences that are grammatically correct? Can you write in a clear and organized style that is easy to read and understand? And can you do all of these things in a short amount of time?
It sounds like using proper grammar is a very important part of the exam.
Oh, absolutely. Grammar is very important. You need to be able to write sentences that are grammatically correct. You need to know how to use different grammatical structures, and you need to know when to use different tenses. If your grammar is good, then you will get a better score on the writing exam.
Okay, and I imagine vocabulary is very important too.
Yes, vocabulary is also extremely important. You need to be able to use a wide range of vocabulary, and you need to use the correct words for the topic. You should learn words that are commonly used in academic settings. This will help you to understand the questions and write better answers.
So I need to study vocabulary that people use in school and university, like academic vocabulary.
Exactly. That is a great way to prepare for the exam. There are many different books and websites that can help you learn academic vocabulary.
Okay, that's good to know. So the most important things for the IELTS writing exam are to study the rules and practice writing.
Yes, that's right. The more you practice, the better you will become at writing. You will learn the rules of the exam, you will learn how to do the different types of writing tasks, and most importantly, you will learn what you need to do to get a good score. There are many ways to practice for the exam. You can find examples of the different writing tasks online or in books. Then you can practice writing the answers and timing yourself to see how long it takes. You can also ask a friend or a teacher to read your writing and give you feedback.
So you're saying if I practice enough, I will get a good score on the exam.
Yes, I believe that is true. The best way to do well on any exam is to study hard and practice as much as possible. There are no easy tricks or shortcuts. And don't be afraid to make mistakes while you are practicing. It is totally normal to make mistakes when you are learning something new. When you make a mistake, you can learn from it and try to do better next time.
That is very good advice. Sometimes when I am feeling worried about an exam, I forget to think about the simple things. What are the different types of writing for the exam? How can I practice writing within the time limit? And how can I learn from the mistakes I make?
Yes, I think that is a great plan. It is important to understand the rules about how many words you should write for each task. But it is also important to remember that you need to use good words.
So basically, we need to follow the rules, but we also need to be good writers.
Yes, that's the best way to get a good score. You need to make sure you write more than the minimum number of words, but you also need to choose good ideas to write about. You need to organize your ideas carefully. You need to choose good words that are relevant to the topic, and you need to write clear and grammatically correct sentences. If you can do all of those things, then the people who read your essay will be able to see that you are a good writer. And that will help you to get the score you want.
I think this has been a very helpful conversation. I feel like I understand the IELTS writing exam a lot better now, and I am starting to feel more confident about taking the exam.
I am happy to hear that. Just remember to keep practicing and you will continue to improve. And you will feel more and more confident as you get closer to the exam.
Thank you for all of your advice today. I am sure our listeners will find it very helpful.
You are welcome. I hope all of your listeners do very well on their IELTS exam.
Today, we have learned a lot about the rules for writing in the IELTS exam. We talked about how many words to write for each task, and about planning your writing before you start. We also talked about how to choose good ideas for your essay, and how to put those ideas in the best order so they are easy to understand. We learned how to choose the right words to use, and how to write sentences that are grammatically correct. It's very important to understand all of these rules. You need to know how many words to write, but you also need to be a good writer.
I think that is a good summary of everything we have talked about today. The IELTS exam can be challenging, but if you are willing to work hard, then I believe you can do very well.
What is the best advice you can give to our listeners who are learning about the IELTS exam? What can they do to prepare for the writing exam?
The best advice I can give is to practice as much as you can. Make time to practice writing every day. Practice all of the different types of writing tasks. Practice following all the rules like the word count. And practice using your time wisely so you can finish the tasks within the time limit. If you practice regularly, then you will feel more confident when you take the real exam.
That is great advice. So for our listeners who are friends of the show, if you enjoyed this review that was made by a computer, please click the follow button so you can hear more reviews like this one. We make reviews about lots of different topics, and we want to help you learn as much as you can. Thank you for listening.